Hello, class. This is Demetrius Wilson. This is Business One. We're on Chapter 6 now, speaking about entrepreneurship and starting a small business. Entrepreneurship relates to not only entrepreneurs and starting small business, but also the entrepreneurial spirit within businesses, small businesses, medium-sized businesses, and corporations. Our learning objectives for this chapter are to explain why people take the risk of entrepreneurship, list the attributes and successful entrepreneurs, and describe entrepreneurial teams, intrapreneurs, and home and web-based businesses, discuss the importance of small business to American economy, and summarize the major causes of small business failure. Summarize ways to learn about how small businesses operate, and analyze what it takes to start and run a small business. Also to outline the advantages and disadvantages of small businesses have when entering into the global markets. So as always, I want you guys to, on your own, read the Getting to Know story about Prudencio Uname. This is the founder of Goya Foods, grew $1 billion business from a small New York grocery store. Right, so all these great successful stories that you see of people who started small businesses, but eventually turned those small businesses into very large businesses. Also, as always, check out Name That Company. See if you can name that company, or if as you go through the chapter, if a light bulb pops off and then it says you can, says, oh, I know what company that is. So entrepreneurship by definition is accepting the risk of starting and running a business. Now, if you accept the risk of starting and running a business, you must know and remember that that what you risk is time and money, because time is valuable. Money is also valuable as well. And this is the age of entrepreneur. I buy a lot of things off of infomercials. Those are all people who are entrepreneurs, come up with ideas, inventions, get backed by a corporation, put out an infomercial, and try and sell their great invention that everybody wants to buy. So let's talk about some entrepreneurs. So DuPont, which manufactures thousands of products such as brand names of Teflon and Lycra, was started in 1802 by a French immigrant. Some 18 shareholders provided $36,000 in startup money, right? Pretty big now for a company that started with $36,000 in startup money. Avon, a familiar beauty products retailer, started in 1886 with $500 David McConnell borrowed from a friend. George Eastman they launched Kodak in 1880 with a $3,000 investment. And obviously Kodak, has had to change and reinvent themselves and due to the fact that phones have all these great cameras and everything on them. Procter & Gamble, now multinational marketeer of household products, was formed in 1837 by William Procter and James Gamble, right? Just put the names together, and a total of $7,000 in capital. Ford, they began with an investment of $28,000 with Henry Ford and 11 associates. And Amazon, which is more recent in these times, began with investments by Jeff Bezos' family and friends. And Bezos' parents invested $300,000, a huge portion of their retirement account. Today they are billionaires. Now, talk about having some faith that you take $300,000 out of your retirement account and invest it in your child, and they go and make you billions. And that's great. That's like the true American dream. I want you guys to read Earning While Learning. So read that about all these different individuals. Great stories. These are some learning objectives for 6.1. So it says, explain why people take the risk of entrepreneurship. Why? Because you can become really rich and successful. List the attributes of successful entrepreneurs. So what do you think makes a successful entrepreneur? And describe entrepreneur teams and entrepreneurs, right? So not that you need to write these down and do them anything, but in your head, I want you to say, hey, these are things I should be learning. Let's make sure that I know and understand them really well. So here are some reasons why people take the entrepreneurial risk. So opportunity to share in the American dream is a tremendous lure, right? So you can make your own schedule, do your own thing, but don't be fooled by the fact that you're an entrepreneur. Know that you will have to work hard, and probably harder than if you work for a company. Profit is another important reason to become an entrepreneur. Bill Gates, who co-founded Microsoft, is the richest man in the United States and one of the richest people in the world. Not a bad thing. Independence. Many entrepreneurs simply do not enjoy working for someone else. If I'm spending my time, I want to work for myself. And a challenge. Some people believe that entrepreneurs are excitement junkies who thrive on risk, right? So you don't know when that paycheck's coming. You can't take vacation time whenever you want. You can't take the sick time because you have to continue to work your business. But, the adrenaline and the, excitement strives. So what does it take to be an entrepreneur? You need to be self-directed. You should be self-disciplined and thoroughly comfortable being your own boss. You alone will be responsible for your success or failure. So if you're an individual who, if your boss is out of town, that you only give 50%, then you're not the individual who's self-directed. But if you're the individual who works just as hard when your boss is in town or out of town, then you are self-directed. Self-nurturing, you must believe in your idea even when no one else does, right? So I believe this is going to be the one, no matter what anybody else says, and be able to replenish your own enthusiasm. When Walt Disney struggled the possibility of a full-length animated feature film, or when he suggested the possibility of a full-length animated feature film, Snow White, the industry laughed. They laughed at him, right? So who's laughing now? His personal commitment and enthusiasm caused Bank of America to back his venture. The rest is history, right? So you just need somebody else to get behind you with some money, and things will be great. You have to be action-oriented. Great business ideas are not enough. Most important is a burning desire to realize, actualize, and build your dream into reality, right? You have to live it, eat it, breathe it, drink it, everything. Highly energetic, it's your business, and you must be emotionally, mentally, and physically able to work long and hard, right? So if you're not energetic, you don't have that gusto, then you probably shouldn't be an entrepreneur. You need to be highly energetic, not want to sleep all day, but you want to get out there and do your thing. Tolerant of uncertainty, and this is a tough one. This is even a tough one for me. Successful entrepreneurs take only calculated risks if they can help it. Still, they must be able to take some risks. Remember, entrepreneurship is not for the squeamish or bent on security, right? So there are going to be some times where it's like, hey, money's going to be tight, and that's difficult, when you think about that, especially for individuals who have a family. So turning your passion and problems into opportunities. So in a different class, strategic management, I was telling everybody, if you want to be successful, don't think about making money. Now, I know that may sound like an oxymoron, and that may sound like, hey, what are you doing? You need to think about solving someone's problem. If you can solve someone's problem, it could be your own problem that other people have that same problem as well. If you can solve somebody's problem, then you will make money, right? Solve somebody's problem. I don't like to chop up, fruits. Right, so that's why infomercial came out with that little box thing that you just push down one time and it chops up all the fruit for you, and it's very safe and convenient to use. So, you have to think about what problem are you going to solve for somebody. If you're not solving anybody's problem, then you're probably not going to sell a lot of whatever you're attempting to sell. You may have a business idea that is a good opportunity if it fulfills customers' needs, you have the skills and resources to start a business, you can sell the product or service at a price customers are willing and able to buy, talking about supply and demand, and still make a profit. You can get your product or service to the customers before your window of opportunity closes, so before somebody else comes out, with the same thing, before competitors with similar solutions beat you to the marketplace, and you can keep the business going, right? So if you have that type of idea, it may be a good opportunity. So here's the entrepreneurship readiness questionnaire. I want you guys to check that out. Actually, not check it out, but I want you to take it, right? So you look at these things. I am generally optimistic, meaning you think of the glass half full, not half empty, right? So for me, I would agree completely, right? So you want to take this readiness questionnaire. I want you to do it. And do it honestly, please. It's not a test that you're submitting to anybody. Do it honestly. Right? Because if you do it honestly, then you're going to look back at it and say, well, what do I need to work on? What do I need to fix if I truly do want to be an entrepreneur? All right. And so I want you to go through that. It's not long and it's actually kind of fun to do. Right. So when you complete it, then you go down to the scoring section and then you read the results. And let's, kind of see where we all are at. Entrepreneurial team is a group of experienced people from different areas of business who join together to form a managerial team with the skills needed to develop, make, and market a new product, right? So as opposed to just you being an entrepreneur and possibly open up a sole proprietorship, now it's an entrepreneurial team or a group of individuals. While Steve Jobs was a charismatic folk hero and visionary of Apple computers, it was Steve Wozniak who invented the first personal computer model, and Mike Markula, who offered business expertise and access to venture capital, right? So venture capital is the individual who has all the money to do all the backing, right? So the key to Apple's early success was that it was built around this smart team of entrepreneurs who all had different strengths and abilities. So that's what you have to think about, because we're all not great at every single thing. A micropreneur, that's an entrepreneur who is willing to accept the risk of starting and managing the type of business that remains small, lets clients do the kind of work they want to do, and offers them a balanced lifestyle, right? So it's really small, something that you can continue to manage, but you can also keep your balanced lifestyle. Like if I had one of those automated recycle bins or something like that, and it generally required low maintenance, if the thing breaks down, and I just call somebody and they come up and fix it, or if I owned a red box or something like that. Um, Here are more reasons for the growth of home-based businesses, such as, home-based businesses typically fall under, micropreneurs. Computer technology has leveled the competitive playing field, allowing home-based businesses to look and act as big as their corporate competitors. Broadband internet connection, smartphones, and other technology are so affordable that setting up a business takes a much smaller initial investment than it once did. Corporate downsizing, this happens all the time, has led to many to venture out on their own. Meanwhile, the work of the downsized employee still needs to be done, and corporations are outsourcing much of it to smaller companies, right? So if you're that smaller company, then you can do the work, right, for these corporations. I saw an individual I worked with, and he worked, but then he also had his business on the side for selling edible arrangements. Well, he got laid off, and then he went edible arrangements full time, and he was even more successful than when he was working at the corporation that we worked at, and he just needed that little push, and then out he went, and just because he had to do it, he did it, and he did it well. Social attitudes have changed, whereas home-based entrepreneurs used to be asked when they were going to get a real job, they are now likely to be asked for how to do it advice, which is very true. New tax laws have loosened the restrictions on deducting expenses for home offices. So, but just like anything else, home-based businesses and working at home has its challenges. So here are a few. Getting new customers. Getting the word out can be difficult because you don't have a retail storefront. Managing time. You have time by not commuting, but it takes self-discipline to use that time wisely. Am I going to go work out, or am I going to actually handle my work? Keeping work and family tasks separate, right? That's hard if you're just in the house and you're trying to do the work while the kids are running around and jumping on you. It's great to be able to throw a load of laundry in the washer in the middle of the workday if you need to, but if you have such distractions, you need to really keep them to a minimum. Abiding by city ordinances, right? So, may or may not be able to run the business out of your house. And managing risks. Home-based entrepreneurs should review their homeowners insurance policy, since not all policies cover business-related claims. Some even avoid the coverage if there is a business in the home, right? So you have to make sure that you're aware of those things. Just, going with all the knowledge that you need going into such a situation. Potential home-based businesses, cleaning service, gift basket business, web merchant, mailing list service, micro farming, so small plots of land for high value crops such as mushrooms, edible flowers, or sprouts, tutoring, resume service, web design, medical claims assistance, personal coaching, all great, home-based businesses. Not to say that those are the only home-based businesses, but those are ones that are really popular. So be sure to read about web-based businesses. Some of you guys may already have your own web-based business, and check out the story about Jennifer. We'll go ahead and go over. So she operates her own business, pure and simple, organizing from her apartment, helps people organize their lives, homes, businesses, and more. Right. So, people, it's really hard for people to get organized, and maybe she just has a knack for that. So she said, you know what, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go into, organizing things, and I'm gonna do it for everybody. I did it for me. I did it well. Did it for my friends, probably did it well. Somebody probably say, hey, you should go into business. This is what you should do. I know a young lady, she always she always decorates all the desks at work, and people always say, oh, you should go into business doing that. These are opportunities that you have to listen to with your ear. Affiliate marketing, an online marketing strategy in which a business rewards individuals or other businesses for each visitor or customer the affiliate sends to its website, right? So there, these, dealings between companies. Every time you send somebody to my website, I'm going to give you 20 cents. And every time somebody that you send to my website purchases something, I'm going to give you $1, right? So certain agreements and, arrangements that they have like that, but those are good arrangements, because now we're working together, funneling as many leads as we possibly can. You've probably read many newspaper and magazine ads selling home-based businesses. You may have received unsolicited emails touting the glory of a particular work-at-home opportunity. Beware our work-at-home scams. You have to beware of these things. I see them all the time. Here are a few cues to tell you that a home-based business opportunity is actually a scam. Number one, the ad promises that you can earn hundreds or even thousands of dollars a week at home. If we all could, we would. Number two, no experience is needed. That's never true. They're going to talk about experience. Maybe you get a job that you don't need specific experience there, but some experience is needed. There are loads of capital letters and exclamation points. You need to call a 900 or 1-800 number for more information. And you're asked to send in money to receive a list of home-based business opportunities. Never do it. And you're pressured to make the decision now, right? These are all, what you call red flags that say, hey, this is definitely a scam, and you need to make sure that you avoid it. So entrepreneurship with firms, you have to think about those as well. So that's what you call an intrapreneur, creative people who work as entrepreneurs within the company. Some companies even will give you a certain amount of your time to devote to like a pet project that you have. That's not something that they have assigned to you, but something that you want to work on. I think it's going to make the company great. But this young lady as well, good story. There are more than 70,000 diamonds for sale at BlueNile.com, a Seattle-based company that took in $10.9 million in net income in 2013. Pretty good. And net income in 2013, customers buy directly from the website or through a toll-free number staffed by helpful reps who don't work on commission. So they don't work on commission. They're just there to help you, right? So you get a different feel sometimes when people aren't working on commission. What does Blue Nile offer that other jewelry retailers don't? So just read that story and and think about so what are they offering that other people don't, right? Just think about the commission aspect. Maybe not high pressure, right? Maybe knowing that somebody's going to give you the best deal, right? Typically, and I've done sales before, so I know and understand this. Customer service, you feel like that person's going to get you the best thing that you need. Sales, they say, well, maybe he's trying to give me the best thing he needs, but he's also getting commission, so I'm not 100% sure I trust everything that he's saying. Enterprise zones, these are specific areas to which governments try to attract private businesses, investment by offering lower taxes and other government support. So they're saying, hey, we want people to come in here, create small businesses. Let's give them a break on whatever they need as far as funding and other things. Incubators are very important. These are centers that offer new businesses, low-cost offices with basic business services. So I've seen these before. Even know somebody who uses one, he goes and he just they rent out these buildings, right, or these offices in a building, and he just goes in and does his business and stuff there. So a place to break away from the office, close to where he has all of his business interactions. He used to have a big brick and mortar company that people would go into, but he said he had to reduce it, when the real estate market went down. So now he went to a much smaller area that he's just renting out. And then also they have incubators from the, small business that may help you with the things that you need help with. Maybe you need help with accounting. Maybe you need help with, marketing. Like I said, we're not all good at everything. So you may need to go somewhere for somebody to help you, or have someone that help you. And there's one right there. So incubators such as this in Washington, D.C. offer new businesses, low-cost offices, basic business services such as accounting, legal advice, and secretarial help. All right. So just think about that. If you have that in your area, which you probably wouldn't know unless you look, then check it out. Test prep. Why are people willing to take the risk of entrepreneurship? Questions like that. So once you go over to test prep questions, so you'll be ready for your quiz. More learning objectives right there, but we already went over what they all are. Small business versus big business. So these are the questions that when you do your cost benefit analysis, which direction do you want to go? Some people go from large business to small. Some people go from small to large. Small business is a business that is independently owned and operated, is not dominant in its field of operation. So that's the key thing, that it's not dominant. So if they leave the market, or if they enter the market, they're not making a huge impact, and meet certain standards of size set by the Small Business Administration. They're the one who set the standard that says this. If you have this many people and they make about this amount of money, then you're a small business in terms of employee or annual receipts. All right, so let's look at some interesting statistics about small businesses, and they are very interesting. There are 28 million small businesses in the United States. Of all non-farm businesses in the United States, almost 97% are considered small by SBA standards, right? 97%. That's a lot. But as we saw in previous chapters, the receipts and the money that comes in goes to that 3% of all those big corporations. Small business account for more than 50% of the gross domestic product. Nearly 600,000 tax-paying employee hiring businesses are started every year. Small businesses have generated 65% of new jobs since 1995, right? So new jobs are coming out of these small businesses. Small businesses employ about half of all the private sector employees, and about 80% of U.S. workers find their first jobs in small businesses, right? So a lot of times, I went straight to a larger company, straight out of college, but some people, find, their first experience in a smaller business, get a chance, and then they roll through from there, to maybe a bigger company or stay in the small business market or maybe grow something, on their own. So read this, funny story about the dog and the goggles. Check him out with his, Canada flag and his doggy goggles. So let's talk about small business success and failure. The following are some of the causes of small business failure. You see that says close behind it. I want you to read this, but I'm just going to read a couple because a lot of small businesses do close, and California is the king of small business. So if you go into business, you want it to excel, you want it to do well. So plunging in without first testing the waters on a small scale, right? Test the waters first. Don't just jump in. Put your foot in and wiggle it around, make sure it's not too cold. Underpricing or overpricing goods or services, underestimating how much time it will take to build a market, starting with too little capital, right? Things like that. Big reasons why companies, fold. And if you look at sometimes it's multiple reasons that cause that company to fold. But hopefully, you go into that. Hopefully, you never run into something like that. The following factors increase the chances of small business success. So again, on these, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I will go through a few. The customer requires a lot of personal attention, as is in a salon. The product is not easily made by mass production. Sales are not large enough to appeal to a large firm. The neighborhood is not attractive because of crime or poverty. This provides a unique opportunity for small grocery stores and laundries, right? So think about it. It's a bad neighborhood. It's like, hey, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to provide these people what they need, and I'm going to make a good chunk of money, right? So learn from others. So a lot of times they say it's always great to learn from off of somebody else's dime. So if you want to go into a cupcake business, go work for a cupcake company, learn, and then go out and venture out and start your own cupcake company, because now you know what they did right. So you want to enhance that, and you know what they did wrong, and you want to stay away from that, right? So get some experience from somewhere else. Should you stay or should you go? Ethical decisions. Make sure that you read that. A lot of times people come up with great ideas. They say, should I tell my manager? Or tell somebody whose business I work for, or should I go out and create my own business? Talk about so make sure you read about taking over successful firms. So taking over a successful firm is not as tough or as hard as taking over a firm that needs a lot of help. But sometimes a firm that needs a lot of help can be like a gold mine, but it's disguised as as a terrible opportunity. So a business plan, definitely need to know what that is. A SCORE has a good one if you look them up online. A detailed written statement that describes the nature of the business, the target market, the advantages the business will have in its relation to competition and resources, qualifications of the owners, etc. So if you come out with a small business, you want a loan from a bank, from somebody else, you're definitely going to have a business plan. You should have a business plan regardless, because you want to follow that guide in terms of your strategy. Refine it, but continue to follow it. So managing a small business. Help succeed as a business owner. In the following sections, we explore the functions of business and small business settings. So planning your business, financing, right? So you plan how it's going to work, how you're going to finance it. Are people going to give you money? Is the bank going to give you money? Do you have venture capitalists? Know your customer, managing your employees, if you have employees, and keeping your records. All things that, that have to get done. So you have to, obviously, like I said, you have to begin with your business plan, and you can't rush through it. The business plan takes some time. You need to do it. You need to do it right. So take your time on you when you create your business plan. Getting money to fund a small business, right? The company that you want to create, you need to get a loan from a bank. You need to get a loan from your parents. You need to get loans from your family or friends. You need capital venture capitalists to step in and lend you some money for a stake in your company. Whatever you need to do in order to get the money to fund that company. Right. So, you'll read through all those. So here's family and business associates, banks and finance institutions, right? Just different ways to get that money. So here's an outline of a comprehensive business plan. And this is good. It's kind of vanilla, but I want you to read the whole thing because it's good. But it doesn't jump off the page and give you a lot of options. So what I want you to do is read that, but I want you to go to SCORE, SCORE, right? Like if you score a goal, and check out their business plan. They've got a really nice site that's really helpful for small businesses. Check out their business plan and then see what you think about that. But read the one in the book because it's good to have that good start on what a business plan looks like. So just like I talked about venture capitalists, they'll speak about that there. You'll read that throughout the chapter. And actually one of the terms that you need to know. So it'll probably be on a quiz and or test. Individuals or companies that invest in new business in exchange for partial ownership of those businesses. I'm going to give you $1 million, but I want 3% of your business, right? Because I know your business is going to blow up. It's going to be great. And I know in a few years that $1 million that I give you is going to be more like $3 million. So I'm going to invest the money and believe in you and take a gamble on you. States test new crowd investing rules, right? So I want you guys to check that out. I'm sorry. So crowdfunding is like a website like a Kickstarter. Like you guys know what Kickstarter is, Indiegogo. Kickstarter and Indiegogo have allowed thousands of people to receive the capital they need to realize their entrepreneurial dreams. Like, hey, I need this money. I need to get funded. I'm going to put this out there. Actually, I have one today that I need to remember is for my cousin and for his art studio. I need to go, donate some money to that today. So hopefully I remember. If I forget, somebody remind me. So Small Business Administration, U.S. government agency that advises and assists small businesses by providing management, training, and financial advice and loans, right? So the SBA is there, and it's there for a reason to help you create these small businesses because it helps our economy. The SBA may provide the following types of financial assistance. So it could be a guaranteed loan, a micro loan, Export Express. So once you read through all those, opportunities that they can provide. Now, sometimes, maybe if you get a small business loan, maybe your company's not going to blow up, to be a huge corporation. But look at the yogurt guy from Chobani. He got a small business loan, and he did blow up and do great things. So that's the market that you're in, the market that your product is going to be in or is currently in. So people with unsatisfied wants and needs. So they're unsatisfied wants or needs, right? So you need water, right? So you have to get water, but you want a flat screen TV. So if I can enhance your want, sometimes it could be just as good as a need. Who have both the resources. So there's people with unsatisfied wants and needs who have both the resources and the willingness to buy. The resources and willingness is the combination. I want, a Tesla. I want a Ferrari, whatever, right? But I don't have the resources to buy it. So I'm not in the market. So you have to have the willingness. We all want, this fancy car. But do we have the resources to buy the fancy car or the big house? That's what you have to look at. Managing employees. So that's, if you're not used to managing employees, then that can become, add to some difficulty, but managing employees is a thing that you have to learn how to do in small business, especially if it's somebody, could be your family or friends, and sometimes that can get kind of sticky in the business. They have to keep good records. I know you're out busy trying to sell your product, trying to move your business, but you do have to keep good records. Beyond knowing what your customers need, so I want you to check out this. This is great. As you think about all those innovations and things that people have, like say this outlet right here, to have one in the car. Like, man, sometimes I forget to charge my laptop. I want to charge my laptop in the car as I'm driving to wherever I go. Bam, as long as I have one of those, then I'm good to go. So you have to think about that. Looking for help there, like I said, the SBA has great resources when in terms of looking for help to what you're attempting to do for your business and or future business. So more test prep. Make sure you go over those. Here's score right here that I was referring to about having a good business plan. So it's the SBA office with volunteers from industry, trade, association, and education who counsel small businesses at no cost except for the expenses, right? And checked out their website. I'm telling you, it's great. Has good business plan template. I think they're doing great things for individuals, who want to start a business. Going global, small business prospects, right? So if you want to go global, is it that hard now with the invention of the computer and the internet and everything? No, it's not really that hard. Small business have several advantages over large business in international trade. So overseas buyers often enjoy dealing with individuals rather than large corporate bureaucrats, right? So they want to I want to deal with this person one-on-one. He owns a business. This is great. I don't have to deal with the large company. Small companies usually begin shipping much faster, right? Comes send the stuff out quicker because my business and my reputation, can take a hit if I don't. Small companies can provide a wide variety of suppliers. And then small companies can give customers personal advice, personal service and undivided attention, right? I can focus just on you. You're my only customer, so I'm only focusing on you, because overseas accounts in a major source of a business to them, right? So, if I have the time, then I'm going to focus on that one customer. And sometimes when you grow as a company, that's a problem that you run into, that now you have 4 or 5 clients and you can't service them all the same way. So I can service you great. Then I get another client, I can service you and that other client great. But if I get a third client, I can't. And now my service diminishes for all 3 of you. And that's when you have to think about, hey, I need more staffing. So more test prep there. And then we're now at the end of chapter 6. So here's the summary. I want you guys to go over the summary, get all the good tips and tricks and everything that you need to know from there. You guys should have already completed your first test. And everything, also for chapter 5, and now we're moving on to chapter 6 and gonna have a test on the next 4 chapters, but I'll let you guys know when that is. So make sure that you watch the lecture, read the chapter, and go through any supplements, do your homework, and as typical, most of the things all the things that we go over, they're in the textbook, they're in the lecture, they're there for you when you take your test. So just listen attentively and clearly, and you should do quite well. So as always, class is moving right along, fast and furious. I want you guys to all have a good day and a great week.